Okay, we are starting the event now. Over to you, Ritu.
Ankit
Yeah,
slides.
yeah, just a minute. Yeah, are slides visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ritu Patil, Senior Executive at ESL. I am a part of Team Internware and would like to invite each one of you for today's CV building workshop. I'll start with a brief introduction about Udgam. Each one of our campus mates are familiar with Udgam. So, what is Udgam? The word Udgam itself means origin. It's the annual entrepreneurship summit of ESL IT Guwahati. It is the biggest East summit in Northeast and is organized by ESL. The chief aim of Udgam is to promote entrepreneurship and to help budding startups. To achieve this aim, we organize different events and competitions related to entrepreneurship to help students gain knowledge about startups, how they function. It is also an amazing platform for startups to get funding and mentorship. One of the flagship events of Udgam is Intern Fair, the biggest intern fair in Northeast. As the word itself suggests, it's a great platform for startups to get skilled interns for
Excuse
their
me,
mentorship.
Ritu, just a second. Your voice is breaking. So, Janvi, will you please explain this slide?
Uh, okay, am I audible first of all?
Yes, you're
Yeah, yeah.
audible.
Okay, I'll start from like right here. So one of the flagship event of intern fair is Udgam. Okay, so it is one of the biggest intern fair in Northeast, and as the word itself suggests, that it's an amazing platform for all these startups to hire interns. I'd rather say hire quality interns from IIT Guwahati, and it's also a perfect opportunity for the students to have an internship in their first and second year. Okay, so for now we are like more than 40 startups registered for intern fair, and we have almost covered all the profiles comprising of both tech and non-tech profiles. So you're free to choose whichever profile you are interested in. So yeah, moving on. Now we've been like talking so much about intern fair, so you guys must be wondering that why internship, right? So why should one go for an internship in their first and second year of their college? So first of all, I'm sure that all of you must have thought of doing something productive in your summers, like coding or machine learning, or I don't know, you must have planned some vacations also. But sometimes it happens that all this planned stuff that does not go on track. So to make your summers productive, one can opt for an internship. Okay, so that's why an internship is a good thing to make your summers productive. Next, you get an experience work during internship and placements in your third and fourth year. You already have an internship in your first and second year, so basically you will get an edge over your other teammates that you have already done an internship, and hence your CV also looks good because there will be written that you have already done an internship, so it will be good for your CV also. Over to you, Manish.
That's cool.
So you might be thinking that why we should intern in a startup. So, or what are the perks while doing internship in a startup, right? So startup are a great place to intern because you will be working very closely with the founding team. And that's not the case with the big corporation. You might never meet the founding team itself in any big corporation. So yeah, also there will be a great real life experience that how various things coordinate and work together. That is, you will be learning end to end job. For example, if you are a software developer, then you might know the design team from and then till the launching of the product. Your work is not over. You have to be very careful at each and every stop and also take your responsibility very carefully. Thus, your work will be very diversified, and thus your learning growth will be very high, which itself is a great experience. Now, coming to the procedure, that what is the procedure and what you have to do while applying to intern fair. So the procedure is very simple. You have to register on the website. The website link is shown here, and the registrations are already started from today, 2nd Jan to 8th Jan. It's valid, and the last date is 8th Jan. So please remember it. You have to upload your CV on the website after registering it and logging in. Of course, we will show you a website demo here. After uploading your CV, you have to select interns and apply for that interns. If you applied for that interns, then you will get whether you are shortlisted or not for that internship under the date of 9th Jan and 13th Jan. So you might get your status as rejected, pending, or shortlisted. If your status is shortlisted, then you will receive an interview email that your interview will take place on this date and time, which will be mostly under the Udgam 16th and 17th Jan. So these interviews will take place on weekends, and if they are not weekends, then they will be after 5. So don't worry about the timings. Now hand over to Ankit.
Yeah, thanks, Manish. So yeah, after hearing the word CV, the very first question arises how to build a CV. What and what not to add into a CV. Don't worry, we have two brilliant speakers to help you out with your doubts. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speakers today, who are going to talk about the CV building for both tech and non-tech profiles. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Mayank Wadhwani. He is final year student of computer science engineering. He is the former software engineering intern at Microsoft and is also the grand finalist of Smart India Hackathon 20. Today, he will be talking about the tech profiles. Over to you, Mr. Mayank.
Thank you, Ankit. So first, let me just share my screen. My screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, so hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing great. I remember in my first year attending, like sitting in one of the lecture halls, attending a similar talk. I understand that placements and internships are like a major part of your life. And so I have tried my best to deliver good content, which will help you to get interviews at good tech companies. Before we proceed, I just wanted to tell you that I have designed my content primarily for the first and the second years. So some portions will also be of interest to the third years as well. So please bear with me if you feel that some parts are pretty obvious to you or you know them already. Okay. Yeah, so they have already told good about me, so let's skip this. Okay, so first of all, like what is a resume and why do you need to make it? A resume is nothing but a piece of a document which showcases your skills and tells the recruiters why you deserve to be a part of their organization or their company. So in very brief, a resume has the following sections: contact, education, experience, projects, achievements, skills, key courses, and extracurriculars. So we'll be covering each one of them one by one. So just a small call out here: if you're applying off campus anywhere, make sure that you fit all your information in one page. Like recruiters doesn't have time generally to scan 2 pages of your resume, like in thousands of resumes. So but if it is an on-campus opportunity, like you'll know what an on-campus opportunity is in some time. Since the number of applicants is very less, like of the order of like 40 to 50, you can make a 2-page resume. Personally, I had 2 resumes with me. One was a single page and one was a double page. So for all the off-campus companies and all the off-campus organizations I've applied, I always use 1-page resume. So I would definitely suggest you all to make that. Okay, so now before we actually start building the resume, you have to choose a template. Now, there are thousands of templates that you can find online. Just go to overleaf.com. So we'll post the links in some time and choose the template which you like. On a side note, the template that most of us use and prefer is called the DD template. As you can see in the slide, this is one of my CVs that I made. So this was developed by some Google engineers or so. You can search this on overleaf.com and you'll find this template. Its name is DD template. Okay. So I would definitely suggest you to check this out. One small piece of advice that I would like to give you at this point is that learn LaTeX. Yeah, matlab the effort that you will have to put is very less and the result is totally worth it. Many guys in the internships period send me their CV, and just by looking at it, you can say कि कौन सी CV LaTeX में है and कौन सी नहीं है. So please, I would definitely suggest you to learn LaTeX. It will be totally worth your time. And even the on-campus CVs that will make use LaTeX only. Okay, so moving on, the first part of the resume is the contact. Very, very important. Provide your Gmail addresses and your phone number in +91 XYZ format. Also, many people have the habit of writing both their Gmail addresses and the Outlook addresses, which, to be honest, like I don't feel it's required. Like as one rule of thumb in writing a resume is whatever you put, it should add value to your CV. So if you're adding two email addresses, one is Gmail and one is Outlook, then it is not adding much value to your CV and it's also wasting some space. So this is one thing that you should take care. Okay, then make sure that you also add your GitHub and LinkedIn link. These are very important. Also a small thing, make sure to add a profile picture to these profiles. Like it makes them look more authentic. I see a lot of people not doing it. So just make sure that you also update your LinkedIn profile. Like if you haven't made your LinkedIn profile yet, it's not a problem at all. Do it as soon as possible. Like at least projects and connections, like projects and courses you can add in your profile. It will be worth it. Now, one more thing that you can do is endorse each other. So like maybe you have a group of 6 people, 6 friends, endorse each other. So you will endorse your friends will endorse you. So this gives you the benefit, and it looks like it makes your LinkedIn profile look more authentic and more professional. So like I can talk about the power of LinkedIn for quite a while, but okay, so let's keep it for some other day. Just one small advice: keep your LinkedIn updated always. LinkedIn will help you gain success, if not today, maybe tomorrow. So and also add profile pictures to your GitHub, and just add a small readme, like small information about you on GitHub also. Okay, so if you're writing an off-campus format, so try karna that you write full name of IIT Guwahati and not just IIT Guwahati itself. So this looks more professional and people know our college, so it looks your CV look better. Then for off-campus guys, if your CPI is less than 8, it's not a problem to worry, but like I would suggest you not to write it in your CV. So this is only for the off-campus CVs. Like actually what happens is CPI does not play much role in finding jobs. Like it plays, but not that much role. If you're specifically telling your employer that your CPI is 6, then this may look bad. So I know some people who were able to bag some good offers in large tech companies who had low CPI. So what they do is they do not write the CPI, and instead they let their work speak for themselves. So like maybe you have some good projects, or maybe you have done GSOC or something. So let your work speak for itself, and if you have a low CPI, then just skip it. Okay, so now comes the most important part of the CV, the main body of the CV, the experience and the projects section. Now for the guys who are in their freshman or the sophomore year, I agree that you may not have much experience right now, but that's why Udgam organizes intern fair for you. So definitely check out it. So like you also may leave this section blank right now when you apply. But what I did was, in my second year, I wrote web developer at SWC, because my work at SWC was kind of like an internship. And if your mentor is willing to provide the correct certificate, you may also write this. But again, this does not make much of a difference, to be honest. Like for the first or second years, your projects should probably speak for itself. And so now we come to the next section, which is the project section. Just one must have, try to provide the GitHub link of the project also. Like whatever project you're mentioning in your CV, you try to provide the GitHub link, and also make sure that you provide a shortened URL. Many people make the mistake of writing the entire URL there. So I'll show what I mean by this. I prefer bit.ly personally as a link shortener, but you may use your own sources for this. Also, I would suggest that your GitHub project should has a proper README file attached. Now, what I mean by a proper README or a decent README is like it should include a brief overview about what you are trying to do in the project, and then how to run it in your own local machine, and some interesting results if you have found during the project. Like, let me show you one of my READMEs to give you an example. So this is one of the projects that I made in my third or fourth year. So like you can see that I have included a small write up about what the project is, then how can you run it in your own machine, then how can you use this, and there are some results that you can see. So if a recruiter opens this project, he or she may find this good. So that's what I'm trying to say by including a good README. Also, a very important thing in this section that I see many people not doing correct is always start your project description with words like developed or worked on, something like that. So it does not look very good if you write it in your CV. Okay, so far so good. Let us now move to the technical skills section. So okay, so I have heard.
Excuse me, Bhaiya, can you reshare your screen? I think we
Oh,
lost connection.
okay. So is it visible now?
Not yet.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So where did you lose your connection?
Yeah.
Okay. So were you guys able to see the README that I showed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So okay. Cool. Uh, yeah. So some people have suggested me to put much effort into this section. So like why they say this? Because I have heard that many companies have automatic web crawlers which parse your CV and like sends for some keywords. So for example, if the web crawler doesn't find the word JS in your CV, for example, like if you're applying for a job which has a prerequisite of JavaScript and you have not written JS in your CV, then there is a high chance that the web crawler will truncate your CV, and your CV will not even reach the actual person or the actual recruiter. So pay attention to this section. And like one of the major mistakes that people make in this section is spelling mistakes. And as a software developer, it really disturbs me when I see people writing like react.js instead of react, or writing JavaScript with a small s. Matlab, like my name is Mayank. If people call me Mayank or Mayank, तो मतलब थोड़ा अजीब लगेगा. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like what I suggest you to do is to avoid such things is like whenever you're writing a technology in your CV, just search that on Google, and you'll know how to write that in your CV. So I have attached two examples. I searched JavaScript, and you can see that it's written as J and S capital, and similarly for MySQL, M is written as capital. So make sure that you write all these correctly. I know these may sound like very small things, but trust me, these all make a difference to the recruiters. Also, many juniors used to ask me, like, this is not required for everyone, but many juniors also used to ask me that if they should write hardware languages like Verilog or Arduino in their CV. If you're not aware of these, then you may skip. But if you know, then I would suggest you not to write this in your CV. The main reason being that when you're applying for a software developer position, it may not look good if you may get a hardware job, like hardware work, if you write Verilog or Arduino. So that's why avoid writing that in your CV. Okay, so let us move to the demo section now. So basically, I'll be showing my previous CV and my current CV, and we'll see how like I have improved them over the years. So first, let's see my previous CV. Now, this is the first draft of the CV that I made before the pre-final year for the internship season. So let's have a look at this CV now. Okay. So now the first thing that I can see immediately is that I haven't attached my GitHub link. Now, this is very bad and should be avoided at all costs. GitHub links for software developers is like their portfolio. So if you're applying for a tech job, never forget to include your GitHub link. Then I can see that I have written both my Gmail address and Outlook addresses. Again, not required. Okay, so coming to the experience section, you can see I have written created, like I have started my project description with words like created. So again, I could have written developed a Django based portal. So this may have looked better. Yeah, one more thing that I remember was that one of the shortened links was not working, and one of my seniors told me this. So just make sure whenever you are submitting your final CV, just make sure that all your links are working. So these are just shortened URLs that I have written. So if you click them, you'll be redirected to the GitHub link. Yeah, so one more thing that catches my eye immediately is I have not like presented my project in a good way. So again, as I said, I should have written, developed, or worked on or something. So developed a software in Visual Basic that aims to serve or something like that. uh okay. Okay, so let us assume that you are the recruiter and by chance you open this project, like this project, and you find this, and you see that there is nothing written. So for people, for outside people, when they open the project and see nothing written, it may look bad. And that's why I was like suggesting you to always include a readme. So try to include a readme, like it can be a short readme, just tell them what are you trying to achieve, and that is okay. So just make sure that you include a readme. um, Also, one more thing, you can see I have written e-rickshaw in capitals here. So like this is not good. If you're writing something in capital, it should be a proper noun. For example, Bing is a proper noun, so I can write this in capitals, but e-rickshaw should have been in small letters. So make sure that you do not make such mistakes. Like one thing that I suggested my like juniors was IIT Guwahati gives us the Grammarly Premier Edition, the premium edition. So I would definitely like suggest you to use this, like just copy all the lines and just put them in Grammarly, and it will automatically suggest you what is bad. Okay. Also, you can see here one, like there is an indentation, a mismatch here. See, like Dr. Pradeep and Samit. So there is an indentation mismatch here, which is not looking good. So for the first three projects, the indentation is correct, but here I don't know what why I have given this indentation. So you may avoid doing such mistakes. Um, so just always make sure that your CV is consistent everywhere. So if I wanted indentation, I should have given here also. Yeah, again, as I said, here also, see my MySQL or JavaScript, the spelling, the way of writing is not correct. So make sure that you do not make such mistakes. Also, you can see that after C there is some space, which is again not required. Like after Python there is no space, but after C there is a space. So these are very small things that like that may sound not adequate to you, or you may find it funny, but when you apply it to large tech companies, they always look out for these things. So just make sure that you do not make such mistakes. uh, okay, one more thing. Like I have written PORs above achievements and key courses taken here in my CV. So when you're applying for a tech job, it is not necessary. So like I could have written the PORs below this. So the general order that you should follow in a tech CV is experience, projects, technical skills, achievements, key courses, and then comes the PORs and the extracurriculars. So PORs and extracurriculars is not showcasing your technical talent. It's mainly showcasing your other part, the extracurriculars. So you don't need to keep them very above in your CV. And also, like PORs do not add much value to your CV. So don't worry if you don't have any PORs right now. Like I can talk about PORs if required later. Um, yeah, again, in this achievements, like if I was applying for off campus, like maybe out of India, then they won't know what is like 493 or something. So I could have also given a percentile here. So I could have written 99 point something something percentile. So this makes it look better. One more thing that people generally make mistake is not writing the correct name of their courses. So for example, I remember that this course name that I wrote was incorrect. It's actually formal languages and automata theory. So that's why. So just make sure that whatever you're writing in your CV is consistent and is correct, which is there in your transcript also. Also, the place where I've written my Codeforces handle, this link is not clickable. So I could have made this clickable so that if the user wants to see my profile, he can directly click this, and this can redirect to my actual profile. Yeah, like I think you have a small idea of what I'm trying to say. So I'll just show you my recent CV, and you can make a contrast with that. So first of all, I just want to tell you, like I think you may be able to see the difference between a latex CV and a non-latex CV. So this is a non-latex CV. So you can see that there are a lot of differences that you'll find. So the latex CVs are more aesthetically better. So I would again definitely like suggest you to learn LaTeX and always make your CV in LaTeX only. It looks much better. I know I'm repeating this, but you will thank me later. Okay, so let's go about this. First of all, we can see that there is a GitHub link attached here, and I have written only one address, email address, and LinkedIn link is also there. If you open these links, you'll find profile pictures also. Um, I have written some important keywords in bold so that this can catch the recruiter's eyes. So this is also one thing that you can do. Excuse me. The spelling of the technologies here is correct. I have also written the percentile in the achievements. I have removed the unnecessary PORs. Like I have written only the, like I am not wasting much space. Yeah, so like so, and this link is also clickable, so if you click this you'll be redirected to my profile. So I won't open this right now. Okay, yeah, so like these were some of the mistakes that I made in my second year, which like I have tried to tell you so that you do not make the same. Okay, so yeah, with that I come to an like end with my talk. Thank you all for attending this talk. I hope you have gained some experience or some knowledge about how to build a good resume, and you would use this to your best. So best of luck for your future, best of luck for your intern fair, and thank you ESEL for providing me the stage. I'm grateful for the same. I'm open to questions now if any, and I have also attached my WhatsApp number. You can ping me on WhatsApp, Facebook, or Instagram. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Mayank Bhaiya, since many of the audience are freshers, so can you brief them about what GitHub is and how to be
Oh, okay.
active on the platform?
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, what GitHub is? GitHub for you people, if I had to suggest, if I had to tell you what GitHub is in short, so GitHub is like a social network where you can find all your projects. So just let me share my screen again. Can you just stop the share? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay. So like for the software developer, if you want to see the projects that he has worked on over the past, you can always check out their GitHub, and you can, so there is a thing called as repository on GitHub where I can push, like I can keep my projects. So it's like in Facebook and Instagram you see posts and pictures of other people. You can see projects that people have worked on for people. So this is what GitHub is. So you can see how people have worked over the years. So like if one can simply see the repositories and see the projects that I have worked on. So in very brief, this is GitHub. If you want to learn GitHub, then there are very good YouTube tutorials. So just search Git or GitHub and you'll know in a better way what GitHub is. So yeah. And now one more thing, like again, if you open a project in GitHub, then obviously there's a readme that what I was trying to say. So it's just a small brief about what the project is. So that's what I was trying to say, that try to include that. So should
Okay.
I yeah.
Yeah, Pranav Nair has asked, for fresher having minimal exposure, what parts of CV are important? And
Okay.
also, I will add another question to this one. How important are PORs for a CV?
Okay. So first of all, you asked what are the most important parts of a CV. Like for a fresher, I would say the projects is the most important. Like whatever projects that you have worked, you may have made a small. Like I remember in my first year, I was a part of a front end team in InterIT. So I also wrote that in my CV, and that helped me to get a small experience. So get a small intern nearby. So anything that you do, any project that you work on, it may be a small web portal, it may be a small application. Nowadays it's very easy to learn these. You can search on YouTube how to make a good portal or so, and you'll find a lot of sources. So I also can give like some sources. Also I would suggest take part in projects which is conducted by Coding Club and SWC. So they'll guide you, they'll provide you good mentors, and you'll be able to learn some projects. So this is the most important part that I feel in the CV is. Apart from that, since you are a fresher, you should always write the key courses taken, just to make sure that your CV fits in one page. and achievements, most of the people do not have much achievement. So whatever you have, maybe your J rank, maybe something in your school that you did, you can write that. Yeah, so that's some things that you can write in your CV. And the second question was acha, what is the importance of PORs in a CV? Okay, so I'll answer this question for the tech related CV. PORs won't help you to find a job as such, but the main purpose of a POR is to give you confidence to, so that you can, it focuses on your holistic development, so you can grow as a person also. So when you apply to companies, there's a thing called as HR rounds. So when you are in an HR round, the HR may ask that, except for studies, what all have you done in your college life? So this is when POR comes in. So I remember in my Microsoft HR round, the HR was focusing on my experiences in drama. So like I have done some street plays. So he was asking why did you join drama club and all. So that is where things like extracurriculars and PORs help. So not exactly to find a job, but to show them that you are not a robot. You are not only working on softwares. You are also doing some other stuff in your college life. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I guess. Uh, Someone asked how to get updates of hackathons.
Okay, so how to get updates of hackathons? Like, I'll talk about myself. So, mainly, uh, coding club and all. Like, there are many clubs in our campus which like mail these stuff. So, for example, there are hackathons like Smart India Hackathon or Microsoft Code Fundu or Flipkart's Grid or Mintra's also hackathon. So, there are a lot of hackathons which get posted in our Outlook. So, I would say check your Outlook regularly. And if you want to like search hackathons apart from that, then there are two good websites, Hacker Earth and Dare to Compete. So Dare to, I'll just post them in the chat. You can check these websites, daretocompete.com, hackerearth.com. So just check these websites, and they post hackathons regularly. So yeah, so I know mainly these two sources. So these are pretty good. Apart from them, check your Outlook regularly. That's what. And also make sure that you at least participate in Code Fundu once in your college life. For all the tech enthusiasts, it's a very good platform. You'll learn a lot, and when you work in a team, you'll also learn collaborative skills, and it helps when you work in an actual internship. So a small advice, yeah.
Okay, another doubt is being a fresher in first sem, we haven't learned coding or done projects. So what can be mentioned in our
hmm
CV?
hmm Okay, so what can you mention? Like what I suggest you is, even I started late. I started in second semi, as far as I remember. So, what I suggest you to do right now is learn some basic. Maybe like first of all, find like explore yourself, like what you like. So for me, I first tried my hands on web development. So I first tried, like I was a part of front end team, as I mentioned. Then I moved to back end, and what I used to do was, there's a guy called Bucky, so the new Boston on YouTube. So you can find him, and he teaches very cool technologies. So you can just watch his videos, and you can learn how to work on it. And then if you have an idea, you can directly start working with a team, or maybe with some organization or some club, like I mentioned, SWC or coding club. And about your less experience in coding, so I guess second sem you're already like there's a course on C, I guess. So don't worry about coding, so that will come in due time. And about projects, just explore yourself. Maybe your interest lies in app development, maybe your interest lies somewhere else. So there are a lot of domains in computer science which are booming in the recent years. So just try to explore yourself. That's what I would say. If you would like, if you want resources, we can provide you resources. Like I'll give the resources to ESL, and they'll share it with you.
Okay, thank you, Bhaiya. So I have covered the most of the questions, but others you can still ask your questions in the chat, and Mayank Bhaiya, please try to answer them in the chat itself. And
Sure,
let's move forward with the next talk. And the remaining questions we can take at the end as well.
sure.
Over to you, Ankit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayank Bhaiya, for such a detailed session. It was a really nice session. Okay, so our next speaker is Mr. Sabrish Muralidharan. He is a final year student of mechanical engineering. He is the former intern at Harvard Business School and is a managing partner of Diplomacy Consulting. Apart from that, he is also an international chess player. Today, he will be talking about the non-tech profiles. So yeah, over to you, Mr. Sabrish.
Thanks a lot, Ankit. So I'm pretty sure most of you are very curious about what actually goes into a CV, and thanks to the previous session, we actually got to know a lot about this. I'm pretty sure that since about 60% of you are freshers, you probably don't know exactly as to what to put in. So don't worry, we'll try covering everything from step zero in this particular session. Can you please share the screen, Ankit, of the presentation? Yeah. So thanks for the introduction. And of course, when we're talking about non-tech CVs, for a non-tech role, CV is definitely important. So when we're talking about an internship, we can broadly classify it into three categories. One is definitely a tech-based internship, and when I'm talking about tech, of course, software development comes into that. Probably, I think you can even include analytics, for instance. And also, when you're talking about non-tech roles, you usually have product development, you have operations, you have consulting, and all these related areas. So usually, when you're talking about a non-tech CV, it's comparatively different from a technology CV because you lay more emphasis on education, you lay more emphasis on experience, you lay more emphasis on what kind of leadership qualities you have than on projects as such. So that is one key thing to keep in mind. This being said, there is also another type of a CV which you can build, which is predominantly for research activities. So in this current session, we'll pretty much cover base on the non-tech CVs, and we will first talk about how to write a good CV, given the fact that most of you here don't have substantial experience. So of course, and that's definitely understandable as well, because only in your first year or second year summer breaks, we usually get time for doing a proper internship. Sure. So can we please move to the next slide, Ankit? Perfect. So, what is a CV? So, a curriculum vitae is something which is a kind of a document, as Mayank rightly mentioned, and it shows the employer that you are the ideal candidate for the particular job. So, how does it do so? Like, do you think just a piece of paper can do that? Like, of course, all the conventional wisdom wants me to say yes, but of course it can't. So a lot actually depends on the interview. But to actually ensure that you get shortlisted for the interview, this actually plays a major role. So this means that you need to stand out. That is one thing. And the second thing is that you need to be very clear as to what you write. For example, if you false, I think there was a few questions as to can we write some false information on the curriculum video or something like that. A lot of times that proves to be a very big trap actually. So most of the times if you probably mention some particular skill or technology you don't know, and if you probably are not able to answer about that, that's a very big red flag for the employer, and that's it, a game over right there. So yeah, so that's one thing. And apart from standing out from the crowd, you also need to make sure that you have a customized version of CV as well. So of course, at this point of time, making one CV itself seems to be a headache. I can understand that wholeheartedly. But yes, so probably when you're thinking about applying to analytics roles, it's preferable to have one for analytics, preferably one for consulting, or basically like one non-tech roles and things like that. We'll discuss more about what exactly we need to put in, and never worry that you don't have enough experience. Never worry that you don't have enough skills. Everybody has enough skills. It's all about how you portray things to the final end. So that's what matters when we are talking about building a CV. Next slide, please, Ankit. Yeah. So there are two predominant things what we as college students need to keep in mind, and this is definitely something what I really advise everyone in this particular session to look into. One is whenever you are writing a bullet point for a particular, like let's say a position of responsibility, say you are a part of a particular club. If you're talking about how you actually impacted in the particular club, always keep the STAR framework in your mind. So what does STAR stand for? It stands for situation, task, action, and result. So, for example, when you have joined the club or when you have joined a particular role, how was the situation? So you can probably skip situation because you don't have a lot of space to write in a CV. that being said, talk explicitly about what tasks you perform. Don't talk about things in a very generalistic way as to the consulting and analytics club over reach to XYZ people. That's a generic statement. Talk about what you did and what was your impact. The third thing is what was your action, and because of your action, what is the final result. So this is definitely what you need to keep in mind when you are talking about making a bullet point. Of course, for people who are interested in knowing more about how to draft bullet points, you can probably just Google Star Framework, and you'll actually get a lot of resources on the internet talking about how you need to make bullet points for your resume. So this is one thing to keep in mind. Please keep this in mind when you're forming your first CV. Next slide, please, Ankit. Sure. So in the previous session, we actually talked about all the different sections as to what needs to go on a CV. But of course, you can make changes, and let's talk about what you need to lay more emphasis on. So be very clear as to what is the difference between a CV and what is a resume. To be entirely frank, I even find final years and even pre-final year students confusing between a CV and a resume. Technically, these are two different things. A CV is entirely for academic and research purposes. So usually a CV is about 5 to 6 pages long, and we technically don't use CVs at all. What we use is resumes. So this is for corporate people. Um, and one very important thing is that for 1 decade of experience, a decade as in for 10 years of experience, it's advisable to have 1 page. So for example, if you're having 20 years of experience, then maybe you can probably go to 2 pages. But of course, when we are talking about on-campus internships and on-campus jobs, since the applicant pool is comparatively less, and as Mayank rightly mentioned, it's okay if you want to have it as 2 pages, because that actually it kind of talks to the employer that hey, this person has actually went over and beyond in doing something which he or she is really passionate about, right? Yeah. So let's talk about the different sections. So the first and foremost section is education. So what all do you need to mention in education? You definitely mention the institute. You mention your CPA. A CPA, of course, it's going to be a highly debated point again. So mine said 8. I think 8 is actually a very good CPA to have. If it's anything above 7, I think it's you can probably mention it. If it's not, probably it's better if you desist from mentioning it there. And apart from that, also talk about major achievements you had academically. Say, for example, say you are in the top 10 percentile of the class, or 10 to 20 percentile. Say you have one merit scholarship or something like that. You can probably have it in the education section. Don't mention club activities or anything in the education section itself. That's a big no. Okay, sure. So let's talk about the next section. So for all the freshers, you won't have professional experience as such. But for this, what you can do is probably you can you can use the summer internship, or you can probably even take up an intern during the winter period. I even had I saw a lot of questions on the chat box as to how you actually find interns. To be entirely frank, Intern Fair actually provides you with a brilliant platform with a lot of good startups actually coming in for the right kind of roles. So this is definitely a very big springboard for your career. So that being said, apart from Intern Fair, you can also try out websites like Internshala. There are a few other sites like Let's Intern and a few other portals, which is actually very good for people with no experience. So basically for freshers, it's actually a very good thing. Post that, in your third year, you do have on-campus internships, so don't fret about that now itself. So that's a long way to go for now. So yeah, and when you're talking about non-tech CVs, keep in mind that you need to have two specific CVs, one for on-campus and one for off-campus, because it's always better. You don't know how you are going to get opportunities in non-tech roles. So for example, like in software development roles, we do get a lot of companies visiting campus, but in non-tech roles, you don't know. Most of the times, there might be a connection who might be willing to refer you in their organization. So at those kind of places, you actually need to have two different kinds of CVs. Always make sure that off-campus CVs are always 1 page, because the recruiter does not have time to go through everything, and they literally take about 10 to 20 seconds to go through whatever you have written, and that makes things crazy. 10 to 20 seconds per resume. It's crazy, to be entirely frank. So this being said, for freshers, that is for take first years and second years, for instance, instead of the professional experience, you can actually lay more emphasis on the projects you do. So the projects you do again could be either a self project or a project you take up with the professor. So even if you're not able to get an industry internship in the first year, don't worry much. Probably you can even email different professors either in IIT Guwahati or with in other academic institutions, and probably if it's a research, if the research area aligns with your interest, you can actually do something along those lines as well. So that is actually a very interesting thing. So for example, you can in the non-tech or the management side, exactly, you can try emailing different IM professors. They usually take up a lot of interns for summer and winter periods. Of course, you can even go for the well-esteemed institutions. It's actually very easy, to be entirely frank. You just need to email a lot of people, and you need to make sure that you actually convey your candidature in a very good way. So that is the next thing. This being said, so projects again, if you are doing it with the professor, it's well and good. It actually lends credibility. If not, you can also write about self projects. Especially in analytics, there is this particular site called Kaggle. So I'm pretty sure most of you might seem blank about what Kaggle is exactly, what GitHub is exactly. It's all right. Don't fret much about this right now. So it's all right. In due course of time, you will definitely get to know more about how to do projects. So one very important thing is that you try out different clubs. So a lot of clubs actually help you with projects and relevant experience into the field as well. This being said, the next part when it comes to a non-tech CV is definitely about the certifications or the skills you have, because you can't say that the key courses I have taken are some main courses in mechanical engineering, and you can't expect to go to a consulting company and say, hey, I know about how manufacturing happens. Hey, I know about how lattices are there inside a chemical bond or something like that. It doesn't work that way. So in that scenario, MOOCs definitely help a lot. So, like if you have not already started looking out at Coursera, EDX, and relevant platforms, I strongly advise you to look at that, because it actually gives you a very standard idea as to what exactly happens in the industry. And of course, it does have a good brand value as well. So imagine you have done a course from, say, Stanford University on organizational strategy. It does look good in your first few years. But once you go to your third year or something like that, I would suggest to you to phase out all the MOOCs and other certification courses from your CV. But again, as mentioned, that's a long way to go from now. So right now, ensure that you actually have all the right skills on your CV. So it could be in terms of MOOCs, it could be, you can just talk about the fact that you are good at presentations, you can talk about the fact that you are probably good at even Microsoft Excel and Microsoft PowerPoint. So one major thing I would suggest all of you right now is that learn advanced Excel and advanced PowerPoint. You need to be able to make very good PowerPoint slides within, like, say, 10 to 15 minutes. That is one thing. And there are excellent opportunities when it comes to learning advanced Excel. So when I talk about advanced Excel, there are a lot of things like pivot tables. There are things like lookups. It's actually very simple when you think about it. But having that on your CV, especially in your first and second year, helps a lot. So that is the next thing. So this being said, try participating in as many case study competitions as possible. This is especially true for consulting and product management oriented people. So what projects is for a standard technology CV, case studies is for a non-technical CV. So it actually illustrates the fact that you have participated in a lot of different competitions, brainstormed ideas, and probably won a few. If you have won a few, that's well and good. If not, it's all right. That's definitely understandable. But it always talks about experience. So one important thing is that POs and leadership is definitely important for a non-tech CV. Why? Let me talk to you about like what exactly recruiters look for in a non-tech CV. So they look for what is called as peaks, peaks in the career. So a peak can be anything. A peak is based a very good CPA, say a CPA above 8.5 or 9 is a peak. Say you have represented your institute in writing sports or in writing tech or any of these, that's actually a peak. Let's take a particular club, you are leading it, that's a peak. And similarly, you have won a case study competition or a global hackathon, that's definitely a peak. So these are all different peaks. So leadership is definitely a huge thing what companies are actually looking for, because in a non-technology role, basically in a management kind of a role, it's necessary you need the right skills. And here, when you're talking about the right skills, we are also talking about all the necessary soft skills associated. So it's not just learning about a new language, it's also more about the people skills, how you communicate with people, how you present yourself, how you negotiate on, and all these things. So I do understand that you can't just say that, hey, I know how to present in a CV, because that sounds very vague, right? So probably participating in competitions, actually, presenting your opinion in these competitions makes the recruiter believe that you actually have the right skill set to actually be a part of their team. So that is the next thing. And of course, in the end, you can have a section for achievements and extracurriculars. So yes, this being said, I would also advise you not to have more than 5 or 6 sections. So try consolidating different sections together. Otherwise, it looks very cumbersome. So the person who is actually looking at your CV might not be able to make sense of what is what. um, and also another thing is that always talk about things in the reverse chronological way. So what I mean by this is that always talk about the thing what you did last in the first point. Like I do understand that intuitively and instinctively we do that. For example, we do talk about the things we did recently first, but this is also something you need to keep in mind. So for example, if you're talking about one summer internship, and then you're talking about the next summer internship and then a winter internship, if the timelines don't match, it's actually very hard for the people to understand what happened after what. So keep that in mind. Yeah, next slide please, Ankit. Also, if you have like any queries, like you can post it in the chat box, and of course we'll discuss all of that in the end. One very important thing is that a lot of CVs, especially in the first and second years, have blatant grammatical errors or have a very bad sentence formation structure. This is a very big turn off in terms of people who are actually looking at CVs, because what they think is that I do understand that as students we have actually put in a lot of time into doing things, but if you don't give enough time towards presenting what all you did in a very proper way, it all comes down to nothing, to be entirely frank. So take a lot of time when you are drafting a CV, send it to all your friends, get it proofread. You can probably also get it proofread by your family members, because they do know what you are doing and things like that. And having a lot of different perspectives also help you in understanding what is more important and whether you have any grammatical errors, because grammatical errors in a CV is a very bad thing. And this includes punctuation mistakes. This includes the upper script, uppercase, lowercase thing, what Mike mentioned, and pretty much it encapsulates everything. Next slide, please, Ankit. Yes. So quickly, let's talk about what all you need to do, what all you need to keep in mind while forming a CV. Never go for multiple fonts in the same CV. Like, we might think it looks cool, or we might think it can actually get the attention of the recruiter, but it does catch the attention of the recruiter, but in a very, very, very bad way. So keep that in mind. So use a very standard font, and don't go for colors. Like, especially in the first few drafts, we think we want to make a catchy CV, we go for different colors. It doesn't look professional. So that being said, be consistent in your layout as well. So I'll actually show you some examples of a CV what I made in my first year. It looks very trashy, to be entirely frank, and especially when we are talking about applying to different companies. So in that particular scenario, a lot of them actually have algorithmic screening approaches. So if you have a very a jumbled kind of structure, the algorithm won't be able to understand what is what. So it's preferable to go for a one column approach, because the algorithm will be able to understand it better. But in case you are very sure that it's going to be read by a recruiter, probably in that case you can go for a two column CV. This being said, one extremely important thing is that you need to quantify each bullet point. So it's not necessary you talk about what you did. You need to talk about what you did by attaching specific numbers to it. So, for example, like let me talk about my experience leading the consulting and analytics club as the consulting head. So I can say that I led the consulting and analytics club of ID Guwahati. So that is a bullet point. I do agree. It sounds okay. It sounds normal. But how about I rephrase it in this way? So led a team of 30 freshers as a member of consulting and analytics club and increase the outreach by say 40-50% or something like that. So in that scenario, you can definitely understand that the person who is actually looking into that knows the team you have led. They are also able to understand the kind of impact you were able to bring to the table. So that is something what you need to keep in mind. So, for example, in case you are working on an analytics kind of a CV, you can talk about the size of the data set. For example, worked on a data set with, say, 50 lakh crores, improved the accuracy by 10% or something like that. So, that is definitely something you need to keep in mind. Always quantify roles. So, quantify as in attach a number to whatever you do. In a lot of cases, it might not be very easy, but as much as possible, keep that in mind. And another thing is that a lot of people have their very old email IDs attached to their CVs, like coolboy66 at gmail.com. So these also look very unprofessional. So if you don't have a professional email ID, make sure you create one and keep that on your CV. Also, when you are naming your CV, don't just name it as resume or don't just name it as CV. Make sure that you have your name, you have the profile you are looking for, and the date in which you updated it last. So, for example, a good naming convention could be Sabarish underscore consulting CV underscore January 2nd, something like that, for instance. So, a lot of times, especially in the first few iterations, we just save it as resume 1, resume 2, or something like that. So, when you are actually sending it over to the other people, once they download it, they don't know what to look for. So that is definitely something which helps you in giving you an edge. Next slide, please, Ankit. Sure. One major thing is that never finish CV in a rush. So, for example, if you need to submit it tomorrow, don't start today in the night. Just hey, so what did I do? Just don't do something in a very fast way because good things take time. So yes, and never lie on your CV, which is definitely important because whenever we talk about an interview, pretty much when you're talking about a big company, they cover almost all the major points on your CV, and you don't know, but some way or other you somehow get trapped in that. So it's okay if you have not done a lot till now, but it's always better to be honest and to have integrity while actually formatting the CV. And especially when it comes to ID Guwahati, they have a master CV template which actually checks all the portions of responsibility you had. It's basically kind of like you can say it basically checks whatever you have listed on your CV is true or not. Yeah, and also be consistent in the font sizes. So probably have a 12-point size for headings and probably 11-point size for all the bullet points or something like that. And go for all the standard fonts. Go for Arial, go for Times New Roman. Even Calibri works fine, but never go for Algerian or those kind of chiller, those kind of flashy fonts. That is also an important thing. Next slide, please. Yeah. So when so let's I do understand that I have probably taken a lot of time. So let's probably just encapsulate all the most important things. So make different CV variants. So this is not applicable for the first year rates present, but second year rates and third year rates, please do take a note. So don't have everything in the same thing. So I do understand that a lot of you might sit for both non-tech roles and tech roles as such. In that scenario, make sure that you have a clearly demarcated CV. So, for example, if you talk about software development in the first section and you talk about your interest in consulting or your interest in analytics, it looks bad. So the recruiter thinks you are not very clear as to what you want to pursue, and that comes off as a very bad thing in their eyes. So it's better to have different CV variants. That is one thing. When we're talking about analytics, it's better to focus on projects. And in those kinds of situations, ensure that you have a clearly documented structure for the project as well. So, for example, if the recruiter wants to know what was the exact project you worked on, probably you need to ensure that you actually have all the code compiled in GitHub or in Kaggle. So what exactly are GitHub and Kaggle? So these are kind of repositories which showcases that you have actually done this work. And for consulting and project management roles, focus more on the kind of case studies you participated in, all the leadership activities, that is PORs you have done, and all the other skill certification courses you have done. Because when you're talking about the first and second year, to be entirely frank, we don't have a lot to stand out from others. So, and in that kind of a way, especially being from an engineering background and trying to break into the management field, it's better to showcase yourself in a way that you have done something apart from just your normal academics in the management field as well. So keep this in mind. So apart from this, when you are emailing CVs to prospective recruiters, it's better to attach it as a drive link and not as an attachment. Why? Because a lot of them don't tend to download it because like they feel they don't know how well your candidature fits in. So a drive link, it actually shows as an attachment in the email itself, but since they know it's not going to get uploaded on their in their local drive, they are happy to open it at least. So that is one thing. Also, a key thing when it comes to non-technical CVs is that you need to stand out one way or other. For example, you can make a website or a portfolio for your own. Google Sites is actually free of cost, and it actually gives you templates. So you can make a very simple a website for yourself where you can probably talk about things in detail. So we talked about the fact that CV should not be more than 1 or 2 pages in length. But in a portfolio or in a website, you can actually talk about things in a very detailed fashion. So that is one thing. Um, so video CVs are actually getting trendy nowadays. So you can probably even try shooting a small 1 to 2 minute videos, which can actually ensure that you have taken the extra step when it comes to others. So that can be one thing. And especially when it comes to management fields, try writing a blog. So when you're talking about writing a blog, it's not necessarily Medium or Blogspot or those kind of things. Try using LinkedIn as much as possible, because when it comes to non-tech CVs, LinkedIn plays a very important role when it comes to off-campus applications. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us actually recognize the use of LinkedIn laid down our career paths. So I strongly request everyone to make a LinkedIn account in case you have not made one. So what exactly is LinkedIn for people who don't know? It's basically Facebook for professional activities. So that's it. So it gives you a chance to actually network with people. It gives you a chance to talk about your viewpoints and things like that. Um, Next slide, please, Ankel. Yeah. So like we'll just quickly run through. I think we have probably exceeded time, but yeah, we'll just go through the CV. Can we zoom in a little bit? Yeah. So this is my latest CV. So of course, here this definitely looks professional. And as Mayank mentioned, learn LaTeX as much as possible. LaTeX is basically a small programming language. Like they call it a programming language, but it's pretty much a text editor. It's basically a fancy text editor. So it's definitely helpful in making a very professional resume. Can we see that each bullet point should not be more than 1 or 2 lines, and each experience should not be more than 4 or 5 lines, because recruiters don't have a lot of time to actually go into everything. Also, whatever keywords you have in your CV, make sure you put it in bold, because the person is not going to read entire sentences. They're just going to look at key points. So, for example, if I see, I'm able to see research associate, I'm able to see Harvard Business School, I'm able to see organizational strategy, I'm able to see deals, P&L, client relationships, and basically you highlight whatever you want the other person to see. As simple as that. So this actually helps you in making the other person look into things in the way you want them to look at it. So that's another thing. Also, try working with startups as much as possible, especially when it comes to a non-tech CV. Like I would prefer that especially when it comes to your first and second year internships, try applying in different startups, because you actually get to learn the trade completely. So you don't just become jack of all trades, you can even become master of almost everything. So you learn analytics, you learn how to manage time, you learn a lot of different things. When it comes to third year, definitely a lot of good multinational corporations and proper corporates do come to campus. But I would suggest that you guys actually look out for startups in your first and second years at least. Yeah. So one interesting fact is that for me, I was actually very much into analytics in my first year of study, and it actually transformed into consulting in my second year. So do look out for all different opportunities you can. Don't be dead set on just coding right now itself, because you have a lot of time in your hand. What you need to make sure is that you don't waste time. Basically, have the hustle mentality. So what I mean is that try learning different things, try learning coding, try learning analytics, try looking into what product management exactly is, also try learning finance. So learning different things is definitely helpful, so it's never going to be a waste of time. So take time in your first year to actually look into different things, and say in your second year or third year, be very focused on your career as to, hey, so this is something what I like. So in this way, you won't also have regrets in the future that I don't know what would have happened in case I explored more in this field, or what would have happened in case I went to entrepreneurship. So make sure you don't have regrets in the later part of your life. As simple as that. Yeah. So when it comes to projects, make sure that you have the professor's name written. So that is one thing. Can we go a bit down, Ankit? Yeah. So if it's a self project, do mention it as a self project. And again, as much as possible, quantify things as much as possible. It could be something very small. It could be like the model's accuracy score or something like that. Also, can you go a bit down? So we can also have skills. So in skills, if you're looking for an analytics role, it's better to have skills. When it comes to completely management kind of a role, it's better to also list down different languages, because being multilingual is definitely a good thing you can actually talk about in the interview. So that actually helps in breaking the ice as well. So there is that. And yeah, so as you see here, it's definitely important to actually mention the case studies and how you performed in different case studies. If you have space, you can also talk about what the case was actually about. So I'll tell you what case studies are. So I think a lot of you don't know what exactly case competitions are. So what are case competitions? Case competitions are the hackathon versions in business life, where they present you with a business problem and you solve the business problem in innovative methods. As simple as that. Like, even though it sounds really simple, it does have a lot of different things associated with it, and I'm pretty sure ESL will help you in product management roles, and I'm pretty sure Consulting and Analytics Club will help you in all the consulting related case studies. So very recently, ESL must have launched their PMX case competition thing, and I'm pretty sure you would have actually seen, hey, so what is a case competition? So I do encourage all of you to participate in as many case competitions as possible, in case you are actually interested in going down the management line. Yeah. So can we go a bit down? So one thing what we see is that quantifying things is really important, and in achievements and extracurriculars, like, even if you are a very humble person, now is not the time to keep silent on what you did, because these are again something which definitely helps you a lot in breaking the ice. So for example, I remember sitting in an interview, and we actually played blindfold chess in the interview itself. So don't sell yourself short. Talk about almost excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So talk about all the things which interest you. Talk about the things you are passionate about, and never lie on the resume. So that's like the major takeaway. Yeah, I think we are almost done. So if we have like any queries, feel free to.
Ankit, can you take the questions if if there are any?
Yeah, just a minute. Let me share my. Yeah, guys, if you have any question, you can post it in question tab.
I do understand that a lot of these points could have gone over your head. Like it might have felt that it's something crazy, but it's not. Like you don't make the first version of your draft of the CV immediately. So it actually takes a lot of time. You actually update your CV a lot of times. Like you make the first draft, you make the second draft, you update it a few months down the lane. So it's pretty much like making a sculpture. So it doesn't get perfect in the first iteration itself. So you make it slowly. Yeah. PowerPoint and Excel, it's really important for non-tech roles. You can mention it for the tech roles as well, but it's not that necessary. Also, don't just talk about Microsoft Excel. You can probably talk about advanced Excel or something like that. Because especially when you're talking about advanced Excel, but make sure that you know what advanced Excel exactly is. So there are things like lookup tables, there are things like pivot charts. It's probably it won't take like more than 20 minutes when you're talking about YouTube lectures. So you have a lot of resources available online. Make sure that you actually go through them and get that into practice. So I think that covers for the PowerPoint and Excel thing. Um,
Okay, there's another question asking, can we mention school achievements since we are freshers?
yes, definitely. So a golden rule in mind is that talk about things which are less than 3 or 4 years in terms of your experience. So not experience in terms of your achievements. Of course, there might be something which is standing out. Say, for example, you have represented your institute, or you have a big goal. So that can go long back. But yes, for example, you have represented your school in, say, some kind of a spelling bee competition, or say something which is at least kind of relevant to what you are doing. Do go for it. If it's completely not at all relevant, I would suggest you refrain from it. But yes, in your first draft, it's all right. Nobody expects you to, like, especially in your first year, what's important is that you need to come off as a person who's motivated and who's enthusiastic in doing work. Because they don't expect you to have work experience, or they don't expect you to have worked on multiple projects, because that's definitely understandable, right? So you just need to come off as a person who is interested in doing things and getting things done. As simple as that.
Yeah, so there is a question. Can you brief a bit about portfolio website, like what one should include in this and whatnot?
Sure. Just give me 1 second. Um, I'll also share my portfolio link. Yeah. So, what is a portfolio? So, a portfolio is actually very straightforward. So, it actually talks about things what you have done throughout your professional career. So, it can talk about experience, it can talk about your positions of leadership, it can talk about all the case studies you have done in a very detailed way. So, for example, you can talk about what industry vertical the case study was on. It's pretty much a very detailed form of your resume, and you can probably have like multiple tabs and things like that. So I would suggest not creating the portfolio in the first year itself, because that would require a lot of changes. So it's better if you have it in your second and third years. Like that would be my opinion. Also, do use LinkedIn as much as possible. I can't stress enough on that. Again, as Mike mentioned, you have the endorsements category, you have testimonials category, wherein, for example, once you do a particular internship, you can actually ask your supervising manager to put a testimonial for you, that how well you did your work. So a lot of you will actually get it in terms of letters of recommendation or something like that. But it's also beneficial to have it in a digital format. And LinkedIn actually helps you in bridging that best. So yeah,
Yeah, so I guess we should move. Okay, so my screen is visible.
yes, indeed,
Okay.
Ankit.
Yeah, thank you, Bhaiya, for such a great session. It was really nice to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here. And in case if you have like any questions, in case you are shy to ask it here, you can probably ping me anytime. So that's not an issue.
You can also answer the remaining questions in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, let's move on to the website demo. Internfair have its own website. When you go to this link, a web page will open. This is the home screen of a website. Now there are two options whether you are a recruiter or a student. You have to register as a student. Go to register tab. You need to buy Udgam Pass in order to register for intern fair. You have to enter the Udgam Pass payment ID, which you will get on your email or mobile number when you buy one. So, in case you had not buy the Udgam Pass, just click on the link, click on Pay Now, enter your details, and then do the payment. You will receive the payment ID on your email and phone number that you had mentioned over here. So yeah, okay. The fields you have to enter is your name or username. Username will be unique to everyone. ID, your ITG webmail ID. Make sure that you don't enter any other email ID. You won't be get registered otherwise. So yeah, enter your roll number, your department, contact number, Udgam Pass payment ID that you will receive on your email, and yeah, password. So after doing those things, you just a minute. I'd already registered, so let me log in. So yeah, once you register over there, you will be redirected to your profile. So this is a name and department roll number you had filled. You can always edit your profile and edit in case you had entered wrong roll number, you can always edit the department, and yeah, just a quick tip, enter the full department. Like don't write if you are from mechanical engineering, don't write just mechanical or MECH like that. Or if you are from MNC, just don't write MNC. Yeah, like write complete branch name, and yeah, you can add your short bio into it. So okay, let's yeah, one more thing that the maximum you can apply up to 5 internships. So yeah, just go to available internship. You will get the list of all the startups with the corresponding profiles that they are ready to hire. You can filter you can filter these internship on the by startups. Like we have around 40 plus startups, so you can select whichever startup you want, and you will get all the internships that they are offering. And you can always search for the particular profile or startup name or location or stipend if you want. So yeah, let me search for web development. So yeah, I said, and just click over it to see the details. So yeah, it says profile is web development, and it's work from home. Certificate plus goodies are the incentives. So yeah, I liked it, so I want to apply to it. So just click on apply. Share the Google link of your CV, and make sure that it is a shareable Google link. It should be everyone with the link should have the view access to it. And you will be asked two questions. You have to fill all three fields in order to submit the form, else the form will not be submitted. So yeah, first question is, are you willing to start part-time internship for February itself? So yeah, you guys have two options. Like you can start the internship right from February, and it will be part-time because you guys are also having the kids. And the second option is like you can start internship from summer break. So like you have to fill your willingness. So like I'm willing for both. Like I'm comfortable for both. So I'm filling yes in both. So submit it. Okay, so I'm redirected to my home page or like my profile page, and the internship I registered for is showing over here. Like you can again go to the available internship tab and select others too. And the maximum applications you can make is like 5. After 5, your applications won't be accepted. You can see the status of the applied internship over here. Just click on the particular row, and you will see the status corresponding to that internship over here. And if you don't want to with this one, you can always cancel the application, and like your balance will reduce by one. So again, you can apply for 5. In case of any doubt, you can always contact us. This is our email ID, and this is the contact numbers for technical supports. You can contact two of us, and for other support, you can contact any of these two. So yeah, that's it about the website. Your status over here will be update, the status showing of a particular profile will be updated by 13th or 14th of January by the startups after they shortlist. And if your status is shortlisted, you will get a mail from our side with the interview details and all. So yeah, I guess that's it about the website. And one quick tip is you should apply smartly. Don't just apply to a startup on the basis of their number of employees or stipend they are offering. Always keep in mind that vacancies are limited. So always apply according to judge yourself, right? Are you suitable for that profile or not? And apply only for that. So I saw many questions in the chat in the question tab, I don't have any tech knowledge, so can I apply into intern fair or something? Yeah, you can definitely do that. If I show you like marketing is not a tech profile. You can see that so many internships we are having for marketing. Okay, so like marketing is one, research and development is other, content writing is other. You can see content development, so many profiles for content developer too. So yeah, you can always gain experience in these profiles too. Like tech profile is not the only one in which you can apply. So yeah, I guess that's it from our side. If you have any question, just post it in the question tab. We will take over it.
Ankit, check the questions in the questions tab.
Yeah. Yeah, so one question is, so in this intern fair, interns can be recruited for summer or for part-time during the semester. Yeah, both options are available. It depends on the recruiter whether they want you to work for the part-time or full-time during during summer break. But yeah, that's why we are asking the willingness of yours so that they can shortlist you on the basis of it.
There's a question asking till when can we upload our CV. So the portal is open till 8th of January from today. So you can upload your CV till 8th of January. And
Okay, so
okay, there's a question asking, is it difficult to manage intern and study both?
mm, if you were at the campus, I could say that it might get difficult, but since the semester is online, you guys have very much free time, so you can do it part time too. Like we have many second and third yearites who did part time internships too. Can you provide the link where we can submit our CV? The website link is available in the latest post released by ESL regarding intern fair. You can go to that link, and the procedure is same that I had just shared with you. We will share the ITG template for CV with you guys.
Yes, all the presentations and all the important links will be mailed to you after this event. So don't worry about that.
When do the summer internship start? Okay, so like if you are doing a part time, then it will be from February, and in case of full time for summer breaks, then it will start from the summer break itself. Like for freshers, it is from third week of June, and for second yearites, it is from May. Yeah, it is only for IITJ students.
So guys, see to it that you start building your CVs as soon as possible, because you have to upload it while registering for intern fair. Okay, so and the registration closes on 8th of Jan. So just do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and if any of you like want personal guidance regarding building, so you can ping any one of us from intern fair. Intern fair is for all. Yeah, intern fair is for first and second year rights of IIT Guwahati. From which platform we can apply for internship? The link yeah, like let me just post it again. Like this is a link to our website. You can register over here with the procedure, with the help of the procedure I just shown to you. Can we apply in a second SEM after learning some skill? No, application is open only till 8th of January. Okay. I guess there are no questions.
Okay, apart from intern fair, there are other platforms where you can apply for internships, especially in startups. So AngelList is one of the platform where you'll find all these startups and you can apply for interns. And apart from that, Internshala is yet another good platform. Yes, you definitely need a CV for intern fair.
Manish, can you mute yourself? Yeah, CV is must for intern fair.
Okay, so if all of you have any other doubt, you can reach out to us on on LinkedIn or Facebook, and you can also reach our speakers. So I think that's all for today. Thank you, speakers, for such an insightful session, and we hope that all of you must have gained something from this session. And for any do register for intern fair so that you get to spend your summer holidays in a fruitful way, and we'll see you there. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, guys.